I got her running. Sounds pretty good. It sounds a little loose to me. It's probably going to need an overbore or something, but at least we know what the issue is. It is too much air. I went around, I pulled the flywheel off, looked at the seal over there. Everything looks okay. It's probably 50 years old, but it's nothing's leaking there. So I come back over here and I took the carburetor off and slid a O-ring over the tube, put the carburetor back on, and then put the cover on to push against it and compress the O-ring, and started right up and started acting right. I do have a cable that is kind of hanging up. It doesn't want to let it go back, but that's a separate issue. Let me show you what I ended up doing here. Like I said, I put the cover on just to make sure that everything, it was holding it in. That's how it's made to do. There's a rubber piece on the cover itself that pushes against the carburetor body, and that's what pushes it in. But it's just too loose on the carburetor holder. So I think we need one, but this is a workaround here. Let me open this up, we'll take a look at it. So at least we know what the deal is. It's still not fixed for sure, but it's at least we know. So as you see here, there's this rubber piece right here that pushes against the carburetor body right there, and that keeps everything pushed back. And what I did was, let's see here, let me get that fuel line off. See, this is still just loose as it can be back here like this, and you can tell I just stuck an O-ring right there, and that way it pushed against it right here on the face. See, I think it's supposed to seal up against the inside here, this here, and you can tell where someone has put some sealant there. So the issue's been going on for a while. So that's what I did, and a couple of people said, well, why don't you just tighten the screw up or whatever. Well, the deal is it looks like it's got a screw hole, but it's not drilled all the way through right here. And it was never split right here for it to be able to squeeze it. And they didn't use an insert in here like some of the others. Yamaha, for one, on some of their slide-on carburetors had a plastic or a phenolic insert in here that would kind of compress a little bit when you tighten it down. But I've seen some that have a hole in the side of the case where you can go in there. I think Suzuki did it, and you can actually tighten this up and tighten it up around this. But in this case, it wouldn't work. So that's what I ended up doing. And like I said, this thing it slides in there. If it wasn't for having to mess around with this piece down here at the bottom, it's just a sloppy fit. But this way, it's pushing it on, and it keeps it airtight so that it can run. It just had way too much air before. I could basically choke it by putting my hand over the air horn, and it would run, but not run well. So I've got, I think, an issue with all this. I probably just don't have it adjusted right or something, but it is kind of slow to release. You can pull the throttle back manually, and it sounds like it's doing all right. But I think that's going to fix the issue. I've got to find me one. I actually did order one. I think it's for a KDKX. I don't know all those newer bike names, but it's something like that. It was 25 bucks, so I thought, man, that's not the first time I've wasted 25 bucks on an experiment on something. So maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. We'll see. Guys, just a little short video to show you that I did get this, get a solution to the problem, and I know what I need. I've got one on order, and if it works, then we'll be okay. But it does sound kind of tinny, kind of loose, so it may need a piston at least. So we'll see what's going on with that later on. Anyhow, thanks for going along on the ride. See you next video.